Evening, boys.
Evening, Sally.
Welcome to The Chatting, your local pubcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the other Mark. 3 pints, Sally. And what are you having?
I'll have a sex on the beach.
Cheers. I'll fetch him over.
Evening, cherubs.
Evening, cherubs.
What? Have you pressed record? Yes, I've pressed record.
Cherubs.
Yeah.
Where you got that from?
I just thought I'd mix it up a bit.
It actually reminds me of something that, I once was reading a script. I'm going back years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
When we used to do, we used to have what were we called? A youth action group.
Yes.
Mark was the chairman.
I was the chairman. Get me all responsible.
I know.
It's only because I'm the oldest.
Not you.
I was I weren't no chairman of that.
And we were brilliant, that youth action group. We'll talk about that one day.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was brilliant, that youth action group. And
Can't wait.
Groups hadn't been invented when Mark were a youth.
Yeah. And one year we decided we were going to we had an idea that we was going to put on a pantomime. And so I bought a script and everything. So I was marking up the script. And I remember saying to my mum, I was sat in the living room, mum was sat in the kitchen. And I said to my mum, I went, "What's tubric?" And she went, "What?" And I went, "What's tubric?"
Is that not something you put in Indian food?
Yeah. And I said,
Did you say chew a brick?
I said, "What's tubric?" And Mum went, "I don't know what you're saying. Tell me in the sentence." I says, "It says here in this script, the angels had tubric faces." And she couldn't stop laughing because it was cherubic. And I'd read it as tubric. So yeah, anytime someone says cherubs or anything like that, it just reminds me of that, which is really weird. Says it was what, 25, 26 years ago, whatever it were.
So, does your mum listens to these podcasts, don't you?
She does, yeah.
And you've just embarrassed her again by reminding her about...
No, it was me that got it wrong.
Oh,
she
you?
told me, yeah.
Oh,
it was me. It was
sorry,
me.
I thought
it was
it
me
was your
saying
mum.
what's tubric. My mum was laughing, saying it's
Not
cherubic.
like you to listen, Mark.
Well, it's not... no, it's not. It's not that. It's just that Kirk, as we know... He knows everything.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised you've got something like that wrong.
There you go.
Because you're
I've
usually a walking dictionary for us. And
Well, now we've pulled to pieces my hello. How is everyone?
Good, thanks, Rob.
We're good,
How are
very well,
you?
thank
Yeah,
you.
should we spin the wheel?
I'm all right, thanks. I went to
It was me looking at me watch like anybody can see me doing it.
Yeah.
For the benefit of
I went
tape.
to another spa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was
Off
lovely.
licence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got a gripe.
Oh, you've got a gripe.
Yeah.
About this particular one.
It's grape.
Yes.
It's grape.
Great. I don't know if it's a gripe, but basically, you know when you go somewhere and you're paying for a service or a product, yeah?
Yes.
But you
Like
don't...
Shalesmore. Don't matter. Some people...
yeah.
No, he got it. I thought he'd get it.
I know what you're talking
I don't
about.
get it. Can you explain?
Some people get it.
Go on then, tell me.
That's why Mark only got here 10 minutes ago.
It's the red
He
light.
went to Shalesmore 15 minutes ago.
It's the red light district in Sheffield.
Ah,
I don't think
Well, it
it's
used
his
to be. I
any-
don't know whether
I
it still
don't think
is.
I don't think it's his anymore.
Right,
for you to know that.
Where is it? Anyone asking for a friend? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it now?
So,
Sorry, Rob, go on. When you're paying for a service...
When you're paying for a service or a product and you don't quite get 100% what you've paid for. So I'll lay the situation out. So we'd gone to the spa, Champney Spa. Lovely. But when we got there, we walked in, and after walking around a minute, I was like, oh, they've got an outside pool in this beautiful weather. Brilliant. Oh, it's closed. Okay. So then I walked through into the main area, and you've got kind of 2 main pools, and then this other, quite a big thing, but it's a bit like a jacuzzi, but big, but not. And I don't know what.
Okay.
Hang on.
Right.
So they've got 2 pools inside,
Yeah.
and they've got this big thing.
Well, there's 3 pools inside.
So they've got this big thing
Yeah.
that's kind of a jacuzzi that's big and it's not.
Yeah, it's like a jacuzzi at one side, but not at the other, and it's not big, but it's not small. It's not the size of a jacuzzi, and it's
So
not
it's
the
a
size of
medium-sized half jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Rob, are you doing your riddles again?
No,
Is
no,
this part
no.
of your spin the wheel
No.
thing?
But anyway, I thought, oh, well, I'll tell you what, I won't mind going in that. Oh, hold on a minute. That's closed as well.
Okay.
Right, okay. So now we've got two pools.
The
out of-
jacuzzi were closed.
No,
Was it like there's no water in it?
no, the jacuzzi was open.
Oh, yeah.
But this medium-sized half jacuzzi, half pool was closed.
Closed.
Yeah.
So the door was shut or there was no water
No,
in it?
it got water in it. They just put literally a sign in front of it that said
Closed.
closed.
Get out of here.
Honestly, Honestly, same as the one outside, although I got like a cover over it.
What happens if you went around the other side to get in?
I know. Someone would come over and said, "I'm sorry, this is closed."
Can you see that sign over there?
Yeah,
It's
exactly
medium-sized half jacuzzi is not open.
That's exactly what
But the
they would
small
have
full
said.
jacuzzi is open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
This one doesn't identify as a jacuzzi.
so out of 1, 2, 3, 4 pools, 2 of them are closed.
Okay.
So, but
Yep.
when we arrived, no one said, just to let you know, half of the pools in the venue are actually closed. So,
Technically a quarter of one of two. Half of one. One is only half a pool.
all right, don't make it more complicated than it already is. So my question is why, when they know that they're not quite offering 100% of what they've got, do they not, when you arrive, firstly say, just to let you know, guys, there's 2 pools aren't working? Not that you're going to go home.
You know what I would do?
What would you have done?
I wouldn't ask them. I'd come here and I'd ask us.
Yeah, that's exactly.
We'll know the answer.
No, because I'm just putting it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you not
What would
think?
I do? No, I won't tell you.
Do you not think? Do you not think?
I just.
All right, stop it now. Behave. Do you not think that this should say half the pools are closed? So just to let you know, we're gonna reimburse you £5 for each person from your booking as a gesture of goodwill.
Right.
That's
Wouldn't
we're not
you have
providing
been offended
everything.
at a fiver though? Because you've paid probably a lot more than a fiver to go.
Maybe.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. I'd be straight complaining. You know,
I know.
'cause I'm the complaint king.
Oh,
but I agree
would
with
you
you.
have put a complaint in there and then, or would you have waited till you got home and then
Well, I would
complained
have
about
spoke
it?
to them first and
Yeah.
said, I asked them about the pools and what's happening with them and are they
Yeah.
opening,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
And why I wasn't advised in advance.
Yeah,
And also why I weren't told on the day.
Why
And
didn't you send me a fax?
yeah.
Well, yeah.
So-
Or
Trevor McDonald's like that, right? We're going over to our half pool, half jacuzzi correspondent now over at Champneys, who's got a complaint about half the functions.
They should have paged me. That's what they should have done on the pager.
Well-
but yes, so I'm with you.
I've
Rob.
got a question though, Rob.
Well,
Go on.
go
on.
Okay, but so do you think that that's what you should have to do, to go to them and tell them, you've not told me this, there's only half pools are working, blah blah, or should they already be telling you before you even get in there?
Well, like I said, they should have let me know by email or whatever.
I mean, they might not know that far in advance. They might only known that morning, but still, at least worst case, when you get there, let you know.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on, Kirk.
Yes.
Did these pools
Yeah,
or half jacuzzi or whatever
yeah.
give you any additional service or any additional thing
More wetness.
that you couldn't already get that was already available?
Did they give
Well,
you
yeah,
a bigger bath?
one of
when
them was
when you moved?
outside.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was it half
But it's a
outside and
pool.
half
No,
inside?
fully outside.
But it's a pool.
But it was a pool, yeah,
Yeah.
but outside. I don't even know if it was a jacuzzi pool. I don't know.
I bet it was just a. Where were you going? It was a puddle.
Puddle, yeah.
Why can't we go in there? There's a sign
it
next
was
to it
a
says you
pool.
can't go in. It says,
Yeah.
"Watch out, wet floor."
It was a pool, and it was outside, and it was really nice weather. So people wanted to go in that pool because it was outside.
Yeah.
And the other one, yeah, granted, there was a separate small jacuzzi, very small, and that one, well, as we know, it's a half pool, half jacuzzi.
But what I'm
Don't go there
saying,
again.
your question was, or what you're intonating towards,
Yes.
is that you've paid for a service,
Yeah,
and you haven't been given that service,
yeah,
right? What I'm saying is if the service that is being offered
Yeah.
is pool,
yeah,
jacuzzi,
yeah,
tick,
yeah,
so the service has been provided.
yeah. But if you've been before, or you knew what it
Well,
was,
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. When you enter into an agreement with a supplier of a service, what you're saying,
Yeah.
if they're advertising that we've got pool,
yeah,
jacuzzi,
yeah.
then when you get there, if there is a pool and jacuzzi, the service that's been offered and paid for has been provided.
I'm with you there, Kurt, but I'm guessing this place is advertising they've got multiple pools. I'm guessing they'll go,
I don't
we've got
think-
4 pools, and we've got this, and because they only go, we've got a pool. Because they're going to boost
I don't
boast
actually
about
know.
it.
I'm going to make me last daft comment.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What, for this minute or this hour or this episode?
You should have gone to Clifton Park, mate. Anyway, but no, on a serious note, not that I agree with it, I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's not something, as there usually is at places, that says, we have the right to reserve or the right to change things without prior notice or something like that.
100%.
In the small print.
Yeah.
You get it like Alton Towers. You can get there and a ride will be short, but it'll be in small print that ride might be short.
Yeah.
But you still go to go on that ride, and
Yeah.
then you complain that it's short.
And I get that they can do that, and that would be another fine example.
But it's
that
wrong.
would be another fine example.
But
Going
it's
to
wrong.
a theme park and
because you're basing it on going to that.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
if
you
you
get
went-
there. That's the only reason I'm coming. And you know.
if
but-
you went to Alton Towers and Smile was shut
yeah.
all day.
It'd be like going to a pub and they go, "Sorry, we've got no beer today."
But again, if we're talking legal terms or we're talking compensation terms or whatever it is, if you're going to Alton Towers, let's use that as an analogy, you're already entering into the agreement that there's a possibility
That something could be
that
closed.
something could be closed.
It's
So
just
yes, you could go, you could be then upset or peed off that it's closed. You could be like, oh, do you know what, I'm not going there again. It could put you off going in the future or whatever, that's fine. But from a agreement level, you've entered into that agreement knowing there's a potential that it could be closed.
So just let me be clear though. My argument isn't should
We've
they
been
be
waiting
able
18
to
months for you to be clear.
should they be able to do it and should you complain and everything else? No, because I haven't complained about it. It didn't bother me that much.
Really?
I know it didn't.
We're 10 minutes in.
But the point is should from a customer service level and say and be a bit more. We're going to give you something.
Forthcoming.
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't be forthcoming in giving you something. They haven't done anything wrong. So should they have informed you when you checked in? Should somebody have said to you, I'm really sorry, but unfortunately we've had a technical issue with this and this, so therefore this and this is out of order. I'm really sorry. Yes, they should have done that.
I mean,
Right.
I think
But giving you something, no.
I mean, the theme park thing, I get, but that's slightly different because there's loads of stuff at a theme park. So if there's a couple of rides down, okay, you might have gone for it specially, but there's a lot of working parts in it. But a pool, there's not a lot of working
No,
parts.
it's
So
just-
but there is
it's
pool-
just- I get that. It's that same thing though.
There
isn't
is
it?
another pool.
Yeah, well, true, but it depends on how it was advertised. You know, because if they're advertising it, they've got multiple pools.
Yeah, it still doesn't matter because it'll still be in the terms and conditions or small print somewhere that some things may be unavailable.
Well, it may be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen it, but if it were me, I'd be looking at that and seeing, seeing if there's any loopholes.
It's
in
like
it.
me. It's like me having a restaurant at work. It's like me having a restaurant at work. Somebody coming in, sitting down, and me going, "I'm really sorry, we've got no sirloin steak tonight because delivery, whatever it is, right?" And that person sitting there going, "In that case, I want something free."
Well,
What,
no,
what
but
if they'd already paid for the sirloin steak? There was a different price to everything else.
But then it would depend on whether I've got something else. So if I got another steak on the menu and I was saying to somebody, "I'm really sorry, the sirloin steak that you paid for, we can't offer. However, we've got a rump steak or we've got a T-bone
Yeah.
steak or a ribeye, blah, blah, blah," then fine. That because I'm offering an alternative. If you went to that spa and you were saying to me that it was advertised that they've got pools
Yeah.
and you went and all the pools were shut,
Yeah.
right, then I would expect you to get some sort of gesture or compensation back for that.
Yeah.
The fact that you still had a pool access to and you still had access to a jacuzzi,
Yeah.
then for me, service provided.
Okay.
The
Well,
point what I'm going to say about a theme park is that I got cut off. Is there's loads of rides. When you go to a spa day, there's not really much to do at a spa place. It's really a pool and a spa. That's pretty much.
But he had a pool.
Well, he had a pool, but again, it depends on how it was advertised. Going, we've got multiple pools. If you've only got, I won't go to
List
a spa.
all the pools,
I won't
Mark.
I won't go to a spa if it's only got one pool. I'd be like, no, I'd go to one that's got more. So they've pulled me in. So then if the offer room's closed, I'll be like, well, I've only come here because you've got multiple pools, because you've advertised it as multiple pools.
Yeah. Look,
But a theme park, you've got loads more to do. A spa, what else do you do?
My main thing is just that customer service.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what this is that you're not 100% of your things not working right. And therefore, it could be as tiny as you're getting a meal provided, you get an extra grape on your plate, right? It's just something that acknowledges that they actually care.
No, because we're in a world, we live in a world, right? Trust me, right? I see it every day working in hospitality.
Oh, I bet.
Right? And we live in this world now where people are so
Entitled.
so demanding and so entitled, right? That you have one thing out of place, and people expect the world back.
Yeah.
Right? And it just doesn't. If companies works like that, there'd be no companies that existed because they couldn't afford to do it. They couldn't afford to do it. At the end of the day, Is it a bugger when something goes wrong? Of course, but it's life.
Yeah.
And things go wrong. And people, when something goes wrong, it doesn't mean that people automatically have to be
Compensated.
Thank you, Mark. Compensated. Because it just doesn't. Excuse my language. Shit happens.
Yeah,
It just does. And do you not think that people of that spa or theme park or whatever, they want everything to work all the time. They want everyone to have a great time. They want everything. Everybody wants this, but stuff happens. And the thing is we're falling into this trap of a society of, oh, right, what can I get? What can I want? What can I get? And we cloak it behind this, well, that's what good customer service is. No, good customer service is someone saying sorry. Good customer service is someone trying to, show empathy and stuff like that. But we take that and we go, no, good customer service is giving me money back or giving me something for free. That's not good customer service. That, anyway.
Well, for the record, I had a wonderful time.
Good.
It didn't actually matter an ounce that those pools weren't open. As much as I've made a point of it, it's because it made me think there's other situations, as we've said, theme parks, there's other situations where I think, yeah, why was that? But we've answered it, and I had a great time, and yeah.
Well, talking of jacuzzis, have any of you ever been downstairs when somebody's trumped in a bath? How loud is it?
Do you know what? I can't tell you the last time I had a bath.
No, you wouldn't be in if you were
Yeah.
downstairs unless you've
Well,
fallen
that's-
through the ceiling.
that's-
Have you
that's
ever
true.
heard somebody trump in a bath?
I don't think
Well,
I have.
Have you not? It's
No.
like thunder.
Well, I'm thinking of the scenario now, because if you're saying that, then I presume you weren't in the bath. So I'm presuming either with your daughter or your wife. Anyway, so I'm thinking,
long time ago.
I bet you're glad you changed that subject into that, aren't you?
because it could have been you in bath, surely.
But actually, it's loud when you're in as well because but it's really like you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what you mean. I
In
know
fact,
what you mean.
the bubbles tickle you on the way up.
Exactly.
There you go.
But isn't it like thunder?
Speaking of which, though, how good are bath bombs?
Oh, no,
Excuse me?
mate, no. Gritty.
No.
Gritty under your ass.
They pay a bit more then.
Why, can you
cheapskate.
get them without grits in?
Well, I've never had grit in mine.
Oh, it's like
Yeah, they are
pouring
gritty.
grit
I'll
salt
be
in
honest
your
with you,
bath.
I ain't got the patience to wait for a bath to run.
I can
By
imagine.
the time there's water in it, I'm like, right, I've had enough. And it's not even up to level.
That's you, Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, he's not even got past his knees.
No, I can imagine.
Splashing water on his body.
I can imagine turning tap on, getting in instantly.
Yeah.
Getting really frustrated that it's not past his calf yet and getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get in the shower, I'm like Clark Kent spinning round.
You know when you have a bath, do you then have to have a shower after it?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, as it happens,
Oh, so you're the problem with all the droughts in here?
in the main bathroom, we've got
The main bathroom.
Well, you know,
The main
in
bathroom.
the family bathroom, or
Yeah,
whatever
next
you
to the
call
master
it.
bedroom.
In the family bathroom when you haven't got a
Not
family.
the
bathroom.
ensuite. Not the ensuite.
Well, hang on. You should have said this when we did the episode about weird things that people do. Because that's weird, having a bath and then a shower. I mean,
Why?
you both do it. I've
Yeah.
never had a bath and a shower.
I reckon.
That's weird.
I reckon it's more normal than you think.
You think so?
Well, because you sit in
So what's the point in getting
dirty
it bath?
water.
Yeah,
You sit
exactly.
in,
I'm
you
with
clean,
Mark on
you wash
this.
yourself, and then you sat in dirty water. I mean, I won't go in a bath now to clean myself. I go in for the relaxation of a
Exactly.
bath. But then all the dirt
Yeah.
comes
Goals.
off you.
yeah.
I once did relaxation. It was a long time
Yeah, I
ago.
would say it must have been a long time ago.
And,
Anyway,
and
it's
you're all
weird.
sat in your own mess. And then you
I did,
stand
yeah.
up, and as you stand up, it clings to you. So now I need to rinse it all off.
Well,
So then I just turn the shower on and step forward and get in shower. So
Well, I've got to go upstairs. I've got to go to another floor to have a shower. 'Cause my bath's on a different floor than my shower.
Mark gets
Your
dried,
bath- your
gets
bath-
dried, and then goes upstairs and gets his
Your
shower.
bath's on a different floor than your shower. Is
Yeah.
it just me that's
Is it
poor
really?
around this table?
Yeah, it is. It's on a different floor.
You have to get an elevator up.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Mark has to call his butler to go and carry
Yeah.
him
How
into
many
the shower.
bathrooms, and by bathroom I'm including toilet,
Yeah.
is in your house?
3.
How many's in yours, including toilet?
3.
And how many's in yours?
2.
Is it just me that's poor
Why haven't
around
you
this
got?
table? One.
Is that outside?
Yeah, are you
Up
in
the garden, yeah.
Are you in a 2 up, 2 down?
One bathroom.
There's no wrong with that.
I don't know how people.
I mean, I used to take it. I mean, my mum
I should
and
make
dad
a
used to
complaint, see if you can get something for free.
I used to have a bath in a tin bath when I was a kid because my mum and dad didn't have a bath. Little tin bath.
How did you warm water up?
Kettle.
A dragon used to
Electric
breathe,
kettle.
Dragon used to
What?
breathe
So you had
fire
an,
on
ele-
it.
you had
Well,
an electric kettle, but you had to get bathed in a
I
tin
don't-
bath.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, maybe it won't.
It'll
Gas
be on
stove.
gas stove, won't it?
Maybe. I
We
mean,
didn't have gas back then.
paraffin, weren't it? Something like that. Anyway, what were you going to say, Rob? Go on.
No, I don't think I was going to say. Oh, that were it.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, has anybody else had a good?
Talking of spas, there's a controversial subject occurring.
It's
locally.
incoming.
Is it not
We
about
can hear
politics? Is
Yes. No. Well, it might get a little bit political.
it? Oh, okay. Go on then.
Locally, obviously, I live in Thorpe Hesley, and neighbouring is Wentworth. Now, there's loads of old, farm buildings.
Oh, I thought
in
you were gonna say
Wentworth.
people.
You might have seen it on news. And there's planning in to convert some of these old farms into a hotel and spa.
Oh, I have
That'd be
seen
nice, wouldn't it?
Outside Wentworth Woodhouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
That'd be
They've got
lovely.
half a jacuzzi.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but
that big?
seriously, and
They've
it's
got 4 pools and only
it's
2 are going to
causing
be
some,
open.
it's causing some right
Is it?
debates. And,
Is it?
Why
Yeah.
though?
Because people are concerned over because it is literally linked by country lanes into Wentworth.
Yeah.
So they're worried about obviously the construction traffic initially in and out. How are they going to get through? And then obviously tourists.
I don't think though
I know,
people
but
just find stuff to moan
They do,
about.
they
Yeah.
do. I mean, there's Wentworth Garden Centre that generates loads of traffic.
Yeah.
So people, and with Yuka, people just moan about everything. Nobody wants it on the back. In my backyard, that everybody. Everybody's, I don't want it there. I don't want it there.
You guys know that I listen to LBC quite
Yeah.
a bit in the car or whatever, and it absolutely frustrates the hell out of me because literally you can have one day they're talking about lack of housing, for instance, and they'll go, there's no one building any houses, there's no one building any affordable housing, there's not enough houses, people can't get on the housing ladder, blah, 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 blah. The following day, you could be listening to the same thing, and people are ringing up going, oh, well, they're building an housing estate here, and they're building an housing estate there. What do you want?
Yep.
We either want more housing,
Yeah.
so therefore, it's got to be built, or we don't want more housing, and we can keep nice fields. You can't have both.
Well, it's like I said, it's the classic of these people want more houses, but they don't want them on their backyard.
Yeah, they want it
They
somewhere
want
else.
somewhere else. It's
They
like
want it
you know,
somewhere else.
be it a power plant or a supermarket. We don't want it around here or somewhere else. Well, we're tiny as a country. We've got to build this stuff.
I mean, so we'll come back to it in a minute because it would be a lovely spa if they did. It's got so much greenery and animals. There's loads of farm animals around there. It could be called a spa, couldn't it?
Oh my God, it's bad as Mark's
Oh,
just.
I'm looking at you then because I thought surely Mark's going to catch on to that one.
I did catch on to it.
Yeah, whatever.
It was dreadful.
Yeah,
It was pretty dreadful.
I thought it was brilliant.
I think it's your best joke you've done.
I
Rob.
do as well, Mark. I do. It was better than the Jesus joke, weren't it?
No.
No, that's Mark's best joke.
I think if there's a spa in Wentworth, it'll be deer.
These two are terrible, aren't they? The
Brilliant.
jokes.
Actually, I've actually been looking at some dad jokes. But just while you're talking
Okay.
about crap jokes, can I give you some of my best dad jokes?
Yeah.
Just while we're here.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Where do young trees go to learn?
No.
Elementary school.
Oh.
Have you got any English ones?
What do you call a fake noodle?
What do you call a fake noodle? I don't know. What do you call a fake noodle?
An impasta.
Oh. I like that
These
one.
are good dad
Yeah,
jokes.
cool,
These
I
are
like
American dad jokes.
Why don't eggs tell jokes?
Because the yolk's on them.
Because they'd crack each other up.
I mean, that were good, that, the yolks on them.
Wow.
What kind of music scares balloons?
Pop music.
Pop music,
Pop
yes.
music. These are like out of crackers, aren't they? These
What sounds like a sneeze and is made of leather?
Lees.
What? Please.
I'm thinking. No.
I don't know.
I'm
What's,
thinking out loud. I shouldn't do that. I should.
No.
What sounds like a sneeze and is made of leather?
I don't know.
A shoe.
I'm having that one. Yeah. In the pocket.
See, I just thought just while you were talking about crap jokes.
But anyway, as you were saying, Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really does get in your nerves when people want one thing, but then don't want the other.
I think the biggest concerns with building new things is making sure the infrastructure's there in it.
Yeah.
Because there's no. we're seeing it locally, and it's just a huge problem where they take away. As a takeaway, they'll change
the build takeaways.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So there'll be like places where people, when they're dropping kids off at school, there'll be roads and whatever where people park the cars and then they'll take the kids down to the school yard or whatever. And then those areas that get turned into housing developments, like what we've seen, and then the areas where the people used to park are no longer there. And then they park somewhere else. And then parking becomes a problem. And so for me, they should think a little bit more about the infrastructure and provide some infrastructure so that things can work efficiently. Because it's all well and good saying, all right, we're going to stick, I don't know, 50 houses or 100 houses on this plot of land here, and then have no means for these people to either park somewhere or the schools are just were only built for and designed for the area that it was probably 50 years ago, let's say. Maybe not quite as long as that, but well, maybe it were actually. In fact, the junior school would have been older than that.
Yeah. So you're talking about housing estates that are built. So let's just take a housing estate and plonk it in the middle of the field, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then within that housing estate, they just don't. They build it purely for how many properties they can get on that space of land.
But they need schools,
that's not
they
the
need
issue.
doctors,
If
they
you're
need shops.
If you're building an existing area and you've got, I don't know, a school that's there, and people, you already know there's a problem with parking.
Oh, so this is.
But then what you do is you remove some more of that parking by building more houses, and then you've got more cars in that same area. Then people, have got nowhere to park there, so then try and park somewhere else. Then it becomes dangerous. And then you've got kids who are trying to get to school. You've got cars on curbs and one thing and another. On a flip to that, you look at the Waverley estate that's been built near Catcliffe, and that's like a different animal altogether. They've really thought about it.
Yeah.
They built their own school. They've almost got like a little high street on there.
I would say opposite to that, but yeah. As in, but this I think that was the point I was more making about new housing estates in general that don't interfere with other existing buildings. But if you just take a brand new housing development, plonk it in the middle of nowhere, so there's nothing around it. But within that housing estate, once it's finished, no one's got anywhere to park. It's brand new. It's literally, they've designed it knowing that people have 3 cars per household now. That's not strictly true, but you know what I mean. No one has one car anymore, do they? But yet there's only parking for one car.
I think that's obviously where that comes back to money, doesn't it? Developers want to.
That's what I mean. They're just trying to cash in on that.
But at least they built some infrastructure for schools, maybe doctors, that sort of thing. But when you increase the capacity in a particular area and there's no scope to extend the school or parking for people that are, like you said, going to live there, then it's ill thought out, isn't it? And it creates huge problems.
But surely when they come to planning these things, they're the things that the people outside of the planning go, hold on a minute, how are you doing this? And how's that going to work? And how does that work?
Should do.
Right. Yeah. Well,
but it should do. But at the end of the day, whose responsibility does it become? Whose cost does it become?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like the housing developers know that they're going to sell their houses.
Yeah.
Whether the infrastructure's there or not, they know they're going to sell their houses.
Yeah.
So it's all right, somebody sitting there and going, well, hang on a minute, where are they going to park, or where are they going to do this, or where are they going to do that? Who takes on that cost responsibility?
Yeah.
Because the housing developers are going to sit there and go, look, I'm going to sell these houses whether the infrastructure's there or not.
Yeah.
So why should I go to the cost of
but there must be something on them when they put the planning in to do it. There must be someone that says, well, look, you can. But if you do that, you've got to do this.
Well, you like to think so, wouldn't you?
Like Waverley Estate, as you said.
They'll say, for example, if they're building an estate, they'll say, right, you need to have some green space. You need somewhere for the kids to play, a little play area, whatever, things like that. And so they'll do stuff to tick boxes, to make it so that, it looks somewhere that's a little bit environmentally friendly and, it's not just a concrete jungle. But it's how do you get from that estate to the main roads? How do you get to school? Is the school big enough to, take in those extra children? And I know that you'll get developers that will pay, I think they might give money into the local authority. Do you know what I mean? And but then that local authority won't necessarily apply that back into the area that's needed to support the development. Because they're in debt, they'll be like, oh, we'll need this for emptying bins somewhere else, or a waste recycling centre somewhere, And then you've got a school that's bursting at seams, and you've got, like I said, cars parked on grass verges and half on curbs and across people's driveways, and it just creates utter chaos.
As much as I completely agree with you, the problem is we're so desperate for housing though.
Yeah.
They can't put whether it's government or whether it's local authorities or whatever it is. Can't put too many barriers in place.
No, I agree.
Otherwise, people will stop building houses.
No, absolutely. I don't think we need to build more houses. We definitely do. I think just a bit more thought in terms of there seems to be small pockets of developments that sort of perhaps go into certain areas that maybe, I don't know, could be a bit better thought out. Whereas you get some large developments that have got, you can build infrastructure, a doctor's surgery, a dentist, a school. I mean, you look at the number of people that are on dentist waiting lists, in particular areas.
Yeah.
And then a new development pops up. Well, what chance have they got of getting on that dentist?
Yeah.
They're behind the people that are already on the list. So it's having that forethought for me to, how can we create something? If we're going to, let's build some towns. Yes, there'll be people out there that will say, well, we don't want to be building on all these fields, but if we've got to build, we've got to build. Again, there has to be an end game. You can't just keep building because you'll end up with no, green space at all. But it's having that forethought where you're building something, but you're not necessarily taking something away from the next person. You're creating something in addition, and it's self-sufficient in terms of having facilities.
Just while we're talking about housing, how do you think our kids are going to end up getting on the housing ladder?
I've no idea. I've got a feeling, and I think this is something I feel quite strongly about, that there should be a lot more social housing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's there's a huge shortage of social housing and very affordable, and I say very affordable because there is a term for affordable housing, but it's kind of affordable. Affordable homes for someone who's buying for the first time shouldn't be £200,000.
Don't they reckon something like the average house now outside of London is the average house price now is like close to £300,000?
It's crazy, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it's something like £280,000.
Do you know when we were kids, if somebody had said that to you, that would have been like being a millionaire, wouldn't it?
Which is mental.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us live in a house at worth £280,000. Do you, Rob? I reckon.
I bet you and Rob aren't far off.
Say that again, sorry.
You don't live in a house that's worth £280,000.
He will be.
It's probably worth more now.
Yeah.
It wasn't when we bought it. It wasn't when we bought it, but it will be now.
I weren't sure,
Round
that's
that
why I
mark. Again, you've got the when you get your house valued and you get it valued by the bank versus what an estate agent say, they are literally within £60,000 difference, and you're like, I'm sorry, you're a little bit far apart from each other here, and I don't really get how you're working it out. Yeah, because we base it on how many bricks you've got, and we base it on how much people want to buy it. That's it.
Exactly.
People will pay as much as they're prepared to pay.
What do you reckon about this idea that, I know they floated it around a couple of years ago, and I think it is still being talked about a little bit, but about having these multi-generational mortgages.
That's a Germany-based idea.
I thought you were going to say that because that's what I thought when you said that.
I think it's a genius idea.
Yeah, I do. So the idea being that you have a mortgage.
Yeah.
And then, but it's actually carried over to your. I could now at my age, I could take. So at the minute, at my age, I'm not on the housing ladder yet, as you know. I've probably come to the conclusion that I'm probably not going to be.
Well, you did say yet, so
I know.
There's a bit of hope there for you.
But if I wanted to now, let's say if I did want to get on the housing market, the maximum mortgage that I'm going to be able to take is around about 28 years.
Yes.
Because I think they allow you up to 70, do they? Something like that, 70 years old?
I didn't think it was 70. I thought it was 65.
I think it's 70 now. When they've increased the pension age, I think. Okay. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure you can get mortgage up to 70. So that only gives me like a 28-year mortgage.
Yes.
Yeah. But obviously, if they brought in this multi-generational thing, I could take a 50-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which obviously makes a house more affordable on a monthly basis on a mortgage. And then when I pop my clogs, that goes to my kids or whatever.
And they don't know, and they're going, oh, we've got to pay this.
Well, yeah, well, the thing is...
I know, I'm joking.
No, it's a serious thing that you say, because some of the opposition against the idea is, well, that's putting debt onto future generations. The difference is that if that future generation doesn't want they'd sell the house.
Yeah.
The option's always there to sell the house.
I know. I would just.
But it gives an easier
just
option
tease
to
it.
get into the market, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely! I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea because something needs to be done. Because this generation gap, I mean, my son's he's in a predicament. You know, he ain't got money to deposit to get mortgage, and particularly if you're single, you've no chance. You've got to be two of you. You know, how are you going to get onto? Once you're on it, you're not so bad. You sort of once you're on it, you're sort of up there. But it's just getting on it.
And it doesn't help that you can't if you to rent in the first place before you get the rents are so
exactly.
high that then inhibits you from being able to
the
save.
whole renting thing is ridiculous because a mortgage, you could be paying rent, let's say £600 a month. You try to get a mortgage, let's say £500 a month. They'll go, yeah, but we need proof that you can pay £500. Yeah, but I'm paying rent at £600.
You try getting rent for less than £600 a month.
Yeah, well, I'll just use the example. But the bank won't take any notice of what you're paying rent. You could be paying rent for 5 years. I mean, Kirk, you know, whatever. I know you rent. He's been renting a long time. If he went to a mortgage lender, they won't use that as proof that he could pay a mortgage, and that's wrong for a start. That needs to be changed. So, and as what I was going to say, as the years go on, it's going to get harder and harder for young people to get on this housing. So, something needs to sort of change. You know, because.
But do you know what is changing? There is a big change in people's thinking that they don't want to buy. And
True.
People are shifting to the point of what's the point?
Yeah. There are people taking that viewpoint.
There's a lot more people now where you get into a position where when you get older, you might have paid your house off or whatever, and you're, oh, brilliant, I'm mortgage free. Then you become ill. Then you have to get some carers or whatever. Yeah. Then they sell your house to pay for the carers, and then the house is gone. And it's like you've done all that, and you're back to where you would have been if you hadn't done it in the first place.
I once listened to a book called, in all fairness, Rob put me onto it, called, did you? Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yes.
Yeah. And what a genius outlook on money and life and stuff like that. And what really struck with me a little bit, and it made me feel a little bit better for not being on the housing ladder or whatever, is he talks about people seeing a mortgage, having a house or mortgage as an asset. And actually, if you were to put it in a column of asset and liability, while ever it's a mortgage, it would actually sit in the liability column. Mm-hmm. But people see it as buying a house is an asset.
Yeah.
But until it's paid off, it's a debt. It's a liability.
Yep.
Yeah.
So unless you can buy a house outright, that obviously then it's an asset. But even then, they would question whether it is an asset because of the running costs of the house. The running costs become the liability. So again, it's that mindset, isn't it? Of I do think that the younger generation is being a bit more switched on regarding certain things like that. We were almost brought up to aspire to that, weren't we? Like to aspire to be on the housing ladder and mortgage. I'd be lying if I said that it hasn't weighed on my mind, at some point over my life that I don't own a house or I haven't got a mortgage or whatever. I'm the only one around this table that doesn't, but it is about challenging that norm, isn't it? And thinking, actually, you don't have to.
No. I've more recently seen financial advisors, or that would be the best name for them, on social media. And I feel like I've read it somewhere as well, but it's based on that whole, if you put the money that you put into a house that you don't necessarily pay for when you rent, and I don't know what all them are, and I'm not going to go into it, but if you put that money into not a bank account but an investment fund of some sort, and let that grow, and you constantly put that in, the extra money that you pay when you own a house, and you put that in over the term that it would be in there, that money, when you get to the point where you're no longer working, and you say, well, when you've bought your house outright and you stop working, you've got to worry because you own the house. Yeah, but if you put all that money in an investment fund, the money that's in the investment fund would not only fund your rent for the next 20, 30 years that you'll be alive, you'd have even more money. And obviously the maths and everything, I don't know how it works, but I've read it and seen it more than once now. And you go, well, there must be something in it because a lot of people are saying it.
Yep.
So yeah, but it is these ideals that we've just grown up with that, you grow up, you find a partner, you get married, you have a child, I missed out buying a house, but you buy a house.
I've stopped listening so all I can hear is your chair
squeaking.
Sorry.
I'm thinking, who's got the squeakiest chair, me or Rob?
It's me. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just that role of life.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what our parents did.
But I was speaking to Noah, he's my youngest. He's nearly 12. I was talking to him the other day, and he was talking to me about investments and investing in stocks, market.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand it all or whatever, but he just having that thought process of his age.
It's amazing at that age.
Oh, do you know what? If you put X amount of money away per month over the year, then compound interest allows you to, this.
He's seen this on TikTok and stuff,
Absolutely,
isn't he?
absolutely. But I've said to
He's
him,
not. He's trying to get his dad to buy more V-Bucks.
yeah,
To invest in Fortnite, Dad.
Yeah.
It makes me very happy.
My son, he was talking to me the other day about it, and because he's sort of, I mean, I'm lost with it. It's not something I'm very good with, but he was telling me about this and and stock shares, invest in this, and particularly with all this Trump thing, this deal that he's done in Dubai.
Yeah.
He's like, these are the companies you need to invest in. But I mean, I've no money to invest in. I mean, nor does he. But
this
I haven't.
is
But
the problem,
he's
innit?
right. He's right up with there.
This is the problem with investments in general, isn't it? When people talk about crypto and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, you need to get into this crypto.
Yep.
You need to get." And I tried it, a couple of years ago. I thought, "Do you know what? I'm going to jump on the crypto bandwagon, and I'm going to see what I could do or whatever." And I did a bit of research, and I spoke to a few people that was already dealing with crypto and stuff like that. And I probably invested maybe, I don't know, 500 quid over the space of a couple of months.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, 2 years later, I cashed it in for 600 quid. All right, I made 100 quid, but unless you've got that capital to really invest to turn it around, you're knackered.
Yeah.
Unless you can go back in time 30 years and tell yourself to invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the young generation are changing the mindsets a little bit regarding that thing. But I do fear for them that if they do want to own a house and they do want to get on property ladder, it does concern me. I mean, just the price of houses alone. Just I remember my granddad buying his when he had his house, and I said to him, I said, my granddad was good with money, and my granddad would always say, whatever you could double your money, you're winning. If ever you can double your money, you're winning. And I once said to him, I says, so granddad, how much did you pay for your house? So he said, oh, I paid £3,000. So I offered him £6,000 for a house, four bed, 7 detached. So just when I think of that, my granddad paid £3,000 for his house.
Yeah, but the thing is, we are, well, we won't, but your kids will, or their kids will be saying in years to come, they paid £250,000 for their house.
Yeah.
You're joking? Mine's $4 million.
Yeah.
And that's normal. That's the thing that we're like. You know what I mean? We are.
It's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh no, my granddad once told me a story that he got offered. So where he lived on a street called Sowell Avenue, and now obviously I'm going back decades and decades. And he lived in a house he were renting, and the woman that he rented from came to him, and she owned a few of the houses on the road. So it was something like 6 houses back then that was on the street, and she offered my granddad the ability to buy them all. And he got
all of them.
Yeah. So he'd got she were a bit older, obviously wanted to retire or whatever it were, and offered to sell him all the houses. Now my granddad, like I say, was always good with.
Was he playing Monopoly at the time?
No, no. Some people would say he was tight with money, but he did well with his money. Back in the day where you did a day's work, got a day's pay, and all that. And he'd got savings. And it would have meant that he'd have had to get a mortgage for a few £1,000s, which granted would have been a bit more money back then, but it was doable for him to be able to get that mortgage. But because he was so dead set that he did not want to get into debt, no matter what, then he said, no, thank you. I'm all right, thanks. I'll just buy the house that we live in.
Yeah.
And he ended up buying that. He used his savings or some of his savings, and he ended up buying that house, I think, for £1,000 at the time. Because the other one, £3,000, was a different house. But again,
mad, isn't it? People are paying more than that for the first car.
Yeah. And you look at it now, and hindsight, wonderful thing, like you just said there, Rob. If you could fast forward in time and know what you know now, or come back and whatever. But yeah, literally, them 6 houses now. Oh, there's more houses on Sowell Avenue now. I get that, but I bet the 6 houses on Sowell Avenue round about there would be worth what, 250 grand each.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that, I would have thought.
You know, £1.5 million quid.
Yeah.
But
So, you said something earlier, Mark, about social housing. There
Yeah.
should be more social housing.
Yeah.
How do you think they should go about dealing with that?
In terms of funding it,
No, not funding it. How they would do it in terms of, so at the minute,
Yeah.
they tend to build estates,
Yeah.
and they mix the houses between social and
well, that's a prerequisite from planning that. So what they'll say is, right, you can have we'll give you planning permission for the 100 houses,
yeah,
but 10 of them must be either social or, so there'll be something within that will say you need so many affordable, and the local authority want X number for social housing.
yeah.
Some people maybe listening may not know what social housing is. So just want to...
It's houses where you go and dance and
together.
I know that, but some people might be listening going, what are they talking about? I don't know what
Go on,
social
then.
housing is.
There aren't 4-year-olds listening to this.
go on then, explain it.
Some might be listening.
Explain it then.
Well, it's for people that are on benefits and that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's a smaller house for
Yeah.
smaller income families.
But I reckon there might be some people listening going, I don't know what that is.
yeah.
All right.
What I'm talking about is out and out social housing. So, and I'm not talking necessarily just for people that are on benefits or whatever, but people who are low income, people who are just starting out, single parents maybe they've got a job, or even young couples that are starting out, and basically you're renting that property from the local authority.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not that you're getting it for free or on benefits or whatever. It's the local authority who own the house, or an housing association owns the house, and you're renting it.
Like
Well,
a council house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Council, housing
Housing
association,
association,
they're
yeah.
all the same sort of entity. But it gives people an option to move into something of not necessarily their own, but of independence, where they've got something that, an affordable way to obviously live somewhere, not paying ridiculous prices that you do to private landlords, because there are some unscrupulous ones out there, and you pay a lot of money.
Well, I'm a good landlord.
I mean,
don't worry about don't pay me with that brush.
Well, some are more than mortgages for
Yeah.
the same house, and so. I mean, obviously, I understand that they operate as a business. So, social housing gives people an opportunity to move into their own place, into somewhere, have some independence, but to be able to start saving some money, to then look at either one day. Now, I know there'll be mixed opinions on whether they should then, after so many years, be able to look at buying that social housing from that local authority, which would then fund them to be able to build some more. Or whether that is just a stopgap for them to save for their first house that they decide to move on to buy and somewhere else. But that property then will always exist for the next person, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? If that wants, if we're looking for social housing for the kids that are growing up and they say, well, I want to move out, I want to get a flat, Dad, I want to move out. All right, no problem. Where are they going to move to? Oh, you can only have this flat. It's 200 grand,
Yeah.
or £1,000 a month, and you go.
Can I ask? So,
Yeah.
do you mean that let's say we were building these estates?
Mhm.
I'm going to call them estates because that's what the
Yeah, or streets, whatever.
Yeah. Funded by the local authority / government, or incentivizing
In the short term, yeah.
or incentivizing housing developers to do it, and then the government or the local authority buy them off the
Yeah.
housing developer.
Yeah.
So they agree a price
It
to
would
buy.
don't get me wrong. It'd be a long-term investment, because you'd be looking to make that money back over a long period of time. Because if you're not, charging top dollar,
Almost
in
like
rent,
generational sort of thing.
Yeah. So you build a house. I'm not going to do the maths, obviously, but let's say you built a house and it was, I don't know, let's call it 500 quid a month.
Mm-hmm.
2-bedroom, semi-detached.
Yeah.
Perfect for couple with a baby.
Yeah.
500 quid a month. It's less than what you'd. I mean, maybe not 500 quid, maybe a little bit less. But that's money that's going back into that local authority indefinitely.
And they still own the asset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's maintenance and that sort of thing. So that's stuff that you build into whatever your business model would look like. But for me, that's the answer, because you're giving people somewhere to start off in life.
Yeah.
And then they can then hopefully save some money whilst they're paying into that, and they're not paying the £700, £800, £900 a month for something similar of a private landlord, and they never got any spare money to be able to put to a deposit.
Well-
if they do decide to want to buy, if they don't decide they want to buy, they just live in it for the rest of their lives.
Well, let's face it. That's how it all started, weren't it? That's how
Exactly.
the housing market started.
Yeah.
The government whacked up buildings, estates, and this is why you've got these big what people refer to as council estates.
Yeah, yeah.
And this how they whack these houses up, and it was exactly for that reason.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue all day long whether Thatcher did the wrong or right thing
He's
with
selling them all off.
giving the right to buy.
Yeah.
You would have some people that look at it now and go, well, the right to buy, that was a big mistake. You'd have some people that was their first chance to own a property a affordable way. The difference is when they did sell them all off, they should have reinvested the money to build more, and they
absolutely.
didn't.
Time at the bar, please.
Shall we spin wheel?
Let's.
Yes.
Here we go. Oh, it's spinning. What's it gonna be? Oh, I'm just so excited. Come on. He's nearly there. The Wheel of Features.
So nothing to go over from last week.
No, we did a challenge the chat last week, didn't we?
We did. Mark, you did very well, actually.
He did, drinking that beer.
Yeah.
Can you remember it?
Licorice.
Yeah.
Did you manage to get to the toilet in time day after?
Just spin the wheel.
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
Yay!
Fact dump!
It's fact dump. Shall we actually do a fact dump this time and not the theme tune? Theme tunes thing?
Have you got a theme tune?
Well, no, I haven't. No, that's why I'm saying. Look, stop spoiling the theatre. No, I haven't got any intros prepped. So shall we do fact dump?
I think you should do fact dump.
Let's do
dump.
fact dump.
fact dump.
What's your intro?
There's still in one.
No, you did. You've
do.
done one.
No, I
Intro.
haven't.
You have? You went.
Intro.
Fact dump.
Oh yeah, fact dump. Okay, so this is where I give some random facts.
Love
So
it.
are
Love
we
this.
ready?
Love
You like
this.
this, don't you, Mark?
I love this. I love
Ready.
facts.
So there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all of Earth's beaches.
What?
So there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand,
Grains of sand.
on all the Earth's beaches.
Who's counted them?
I know.
Yeah, but not including.
Could you imagine trying to count sand?
But not including sand from B&Q like that.
No, it just says beaches.
Doesn't count.
It just
That
says
would
beaches.
tip it over the edge.
Astronomers estimate that there are around 100 billion galaxies in the universe.
They're just guessing.
So 100 billion galaxies in the universe, and each galaxy contains a billion stars.
Prove it.
Yeah,
It's on my screen.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're estimating.
Yes.
Well, I'm estimating there are an infinite number of sands on beaches.
Sands.
Jesus was born. Prove it.
Okay. Okay. So next one.
Like it.
What do we think? What English word do you think has the most definitions?
So that again.
So what English word?
Yeah.
A word in the English dictionary.
Yeah.
Has the most definitions.
I mean, I'm struggling with question, let alone trying to think of a word.
So an English word
I know.
Definition.
that has the most definitions. So it's the most versatile word.
How?
Nope. How many definitions has how got?
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Is it some? Oh, I think I know this. I said this all the time.
I don't know.
Is it?
Tell us, Kirk.
It's the word set. So the word set has the most definitions in the English language. The word set has over 430 definitions,
What?
What?
making it one of the most versatile words
Right.
in English.
Go. One. What's the first one? Is this a 2-hour special we're doing? What's it? As in the word S-E-T.
S-E-T,
Oh,
set.
wow. Okay.
So I suppose when something is set, or
Go on then.
something set
you
it
start.
down.
You start with one, Mark.
Yeah. Well, set when concrete it sets. There we
Yeah.
go. That's one.
Give me one more.
Go on, Kirk.
To set something down. So like to place something
Yeah.
down, to set
Yeah.
something down.
Rob.
Set something up.
What do you do? It's right. Yes. Yeah.
To set something left.
And I'll finish off with right.
Go on, give us a proper one.
All right. A collection of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Set, yes. Yeah.
I've got
Oh,
one.
yes,
I've
yeah.
got one. Set something off.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
We're not going to get 430. are we? Next one.
Right.
So, what do you think the shortest commercial flight is? How long does it last?
Oh.
So the shortest commercial flight.
I think this is going to be somewhere in the Caribbean or something like that.
Nope.
No, okay.
I'm going to say.
It's
I'm
not
going to
that-
say 15 minutes.
I'm thinking like seaplanes, but that's not would that be classed as a commercial flight on a seaplane, which would be possibly
Is it
9
from
minutes.
Okay.
Is it from an island to an island? Any clues here?
So the flight is between.
I'd have gone from Edinburgh to Glasgow or something
It's
like that.
between two Scottish islands.
Oh, okay.
Right part of the world.
So it's between the Scottish islands of Westray and Papa Westray.
I mean, it's got to go up and then land. I mean, it's got to be at least. Did you say the time of it, bad boy?
That's what I'm asking.
Oh my
Let's
God.
just think about it. There's no to say that it's not literally just almost hovering from one to
Yeah,
the other. So
yeah,
it
it
could
don't
even
need-
be like
it-
5
it
minutes,
don't
couldn't
need
it?
to-
I mean, I don't know because I
That's
don't know
why I
the...
said 9 minutes. But I was
Yeah.
thinking like seaplane goes off.
Yeah,
and
it
come
could,
back
yeah,
down.
that's good. That could be that.
Go on, Kirk.
Well, we'll take a guess on it. Go on, you start. 9
9.
minutes, Mark.
I've said 5. I'll go with 5. Even though I said longer before.
I'll say 15 minutes.
57 seconds.
What?
So the shortest commercial flight lasts just 57 seconds. The flight between the Scottish islands of Westray and Papa Westray covers a distance of 1.7 miles and takes less than a minute.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why are they not walking?
That's exactly what I thought.
What do you think they are, Jesus?
I'll get a boat.
J-
Boat can only take half an hour if
I
it
mean,
takes
how much is
57
this ticket
seconds.
to go? I mean, did they get an
could-
in-flight meal?
it could
I
be
mean,
re-
what's going on?
They get an in-flight meal.
Is it duty free?
Yeah, we only sell things that are 30 seconds in microwave.
I mean, the safety
We've
video
taken
is
off.
longer
There's your
than
in-flight
that.
meal. There's your drink, and we've landed.
I mean, safety video. That's gonna. I've not finished watching it. I'm getting off.
Literally. Can you put your seatbelts on? Bing! Time to take your seatbelts off.
Have you got any more info?
That sounds
on
like a microwave.
I've got no other info on that
Oh.
at all.
I
apart
love-
from what I've told you.
I love these facts. This is great.
So some cats are allergic to humans. So just as some people are allergic to cats, a small number
Yeah.
of cats can have allergies to human dander.
Dander?
Dander. What's
I think
that?
it's like, in it, like
Dander.
the skin cells.
And
that
that's
come
what
off your-
dandruff is.
No.
Dander?
No,
Dandruff?
possibly.
It's a bit
Dandruff?
like me and dogs because I don't like dogs.
So the average person will walk the equivalent of 5 times around the world in their lifetime.
Well, I mean, Mark won't. He doesn't walk much. But
hello.
So
What have we doing today?
assuming,
You
well,
look like you've been entertaining children, by all accounts.
I've got a clown's outfit on or something.
Yeah.
assuming the average person walks about 7,500 steps a day, the circumference of the Earth is about 24,901 miles. So the average person will walk 5 times around the world in their lifetime.
wow, that is interesting.
I feel like I've done that already.
How old is the oldest known "your mum" joke?
Oh, I think I know. I'm sure.
I thought you were asking what's the oldest
I'm going
known.
to put it out there now.
It's old.
I'm going to put it out there now.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell me what the joke is.
Right.
I see. I think I saw
So,
this.
but the world's oldest known "your mum" joke is.
It's old. I think it goes back to.
Is it your mum or your mummy? As in,
It goes, well, I think it does go back to Egyptian times. This your mum joke, I'm sure.
Okay. So how many years old?
Well, I don't know when the Egyptians were around. When were they around? Whenever they were around.
Let's say 1,000 years.
Okay. Is that what you're guessing?
That's what I'm saying.
I was going to have a guess at somewhere in 1980s, but I don't know.
It's 3,500 years old.
Is it?
An ancient Babylonian tablet dating back to 1500 BC contains a riddle that is essentially a "your mum" joke.
And I think I know what that joke is. I've seen it somewhere.
You wrote it.
Well, your homework for next week is to find out
Yeah.
your
Yes.
oldest your mum
Right,
joke.
okay, right. Well, remind me after we've recorded.
Okay, so how many different scents can a human nose detect?
I'm now sniffing.
I think this is I as well.
So how many scents can a human nose detect?
I like how Mark says, this is going to be loads as well. It'd be pretty crap if there weren't many.
No, but it could be low.
Two.
It could be some. No, I think it's because I'm sure I watched a documentary about perfume over there, and there's loads. Like
55,000.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Go on, Mark.
I'm reining it in. 148.
Okay.
I'm going to say something like 10 million.
Okay, 1 trillion.
What?
Oh, I went closest.
Don't ask me to name them all.
Yeah, let's start going.
What, you can remember them as well?
Well, the human nose can detect over 1 trillion different scents. Although earlier estimates suggested humans could only detect about 10,000 smells, recent research indicates our noses are capable of identifying a vast array of scents.
Wow.
Of over 1 trillion.
My nose can't tell the difference between Cool Waters and Brute.
Yep.
Right, so we've got 2 more. Ready for 2 more?
2 more,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Have we got time?
Yeah, we've got
more.
time, yeah.
Okay, what was the largest snowflake ever recorded?
Ooh.
Oh.
So this is giving me a measurement as in the width of it.
Width.
In centimetres or inches?
Inches.
Inches.
What's that about?
Well, there's always 6. There's 6 things to it.
That's
That's
about
6
40 inches, that, isn't it?
That's about 6 inch, isn't it?
For the benefit of the tape, Rob's doing this with his hands.
Yeah,
He's doing this. He's doing this.
I think that's about 10 inch. So
10
I'm going
inch?
to say 10 inch.
That's not 10 inch.
No.
What's that then?
Have you asked
I'd
Gemma
say
what
about
what
18
size that
inches.
is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey dear. You're always exaggerating. I'm going to say 7 inches.
I'm going to say something like 1 inch.
It's 15 inches.
Okay.
Hey, you Rob.
So the largest
Get you.
the largest snowflake ever recorded was 15 inches wide, according to the Guinness World
According
Records.
to Rob.
It was in Montana in 1887. Can you imagine that falling
on your head?
falling through the sky?
Yeah. And hitting you.
It wouldn't be heavy.
Yeah. Okay, one more. So the original name for the butterfly was.
Flutterby.
Correct.
That's what Ellen calls them. Is it really?
Correct.
I don't even have a guess. Is
Ellen
that
calls them
a guess?
flutterbys.
Yeah,
Flutterbys.
That honestly was a guess, but I just thought they flutter, don't they?
Yeah. The original name of the butterfly was flutterby. The name butterfly is thought to have been derived from a phonic reversal of flutterby. So that's your fact dump for this week.
yes,
I
well done.
enjoyed that.
Really enjoyed that, mate. That was really good.
Yes, we enjoyed that. Thank you, Kurt.
I guess I'll see you next week then.
See you next
See you
week.
next week.
We'll see you
boys.
later.
See you, boys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your continued support with our independent podcast. Did you know that you can interact with us and other listeners on Facebook, on the Chat In Tap Room Facebook group? You can also get in touch via email, innthechat@gmail.com, and of course on any of our socials. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.